guys, and welcome back to Couch Critics.
Hi guys, we're Couch Critics, and today we're reviewing Monkey Man.
Yes, we're reviewing Monkey Man, aka one of the best movies that I've watched this year so far.
Yeah, it was such a great movie,
Mhm.
and I love the message behind him. I just want to point out something that I found very funny.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the movie, when the movie ended and the credits rolled out, we saw a director, Dev Patel, producer, Dev Patel,
Yeah.
executive producer, Dev Patel,
Mhm.
main actor, Dev Patel. I just want to say it was
Multitasking.
multitask. And I think this was his debut movie. Was it his first movie that he
It's
directed?
not his. I think it's her directional debut, but
Okay.
like he's been acting for a while.
All right.
Mhm.
That's still very impressive to do all of that. Like, it's just incredible.
Yeah. We'll get into it.
Yeah.
And so Monkey Man. What were your expectations going into this movie? I want to know if you heard anything about it, if you've seen any promo.
I didn't hear anything. I maybe saw like a poster of the movie before watching it.
Yeah.
Then you suggested we watch it, and to be honest, I wasn't really that excited. I thought it was gonna be a scary movie, or I don't know, like the whole name and the mask and everything.
Yeah.
Didn't really understood it. But then you watched it before me. You watched it on Tuesday. I watched it on Wednesday, and in those 24 hours of differences, you
Scam.
sent me a lot of TikToks about it. But then I started understanding more and more about the movie, and I actually was looking forward to it.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's how I heard about the movie. It's basically through you. But yeah.
I'm glad.
What
I
about you?
introduced you to this movie.
Yes, how did you find out about the movie?
Well, I just found a lot of reviews about it. Like, I
Okay.
didn't watch the reviews, but like a lot of people were reviewing it, and I thought that it would be great if,
Yeah.
like, to be honest, to review it. But I did not. I mean, I knew who Dev Patel was because
Okay.
I know Dev Patel from Skins,
That I
which
haven't watched.
if you're a cool person, you know.
I'm not.
Skins is a British show that
Okay.
came out in the early 2000s, and it's a show about teenagers doing crazy things, and it's so heavy and so like sad and like cool and electric, and yeah, it's just, but like watching it feels like torturing yourself. Like,
Okay.
it's that heavy. You
Alright.
feel the heaviness. And Dave Patel was in it. He was just a kid. Going back to your question, why did I watch this movie and what encouraged me to watch this movie? At first, I thought that it was going to be directed by Jordan Peele. But Jordan Peele produced this movie with Dev
Dev
Patel.
Patel, yeah.
His production is Monkey Paw, Jordan
Okay.
Peele's production, and I think they're the one who produced it. Do you know who Jordan Peele is?
I have no idea.
Okay, you have to know who Jordan Peele is. He is the definition of what it's like to be a cool director.
Okay.
To me, what Sam Levinson, Quentin Tarantino, Wes Anderson are doing is like creating some cool work. But the difference between them and Jordan Peele is that Jordan Peele doesn't try. He's just cool. He doesn't try to be cool.
Okay. Wow, that's a bold assumption. What's one like of his best movies like that you watched of him?
One of his first movies, I think it was his first movie, is Get Out. It's a psychological
I've
thriller
heard of
about
it.
racism,
Okay.
and it doesn't have any like weird kill. He doesn't.
Okay.
He doesn't have
A bit of
any.
range.
It's not a slasher movie, you know. Like,
Okay.
it doesn't have any gore scenes, but it gets in your head,
Okay.
and it definitely shakes you, and you think about it, and it haunts you. Then there is Nope. It's a movie called Nope. Crazy cinematography. You don't understand what the movie is about because you're too busy like looking at everything. And I think after Jordan made Get Out, he just like realized that he's cool, and he stopped caring about the audience because he realized that the audience had to level up to him in order to.
I have so much respect for these people. I have so much respect and love for these people.
Nope is definitely too sophisticated for the
Okay.
average viewer.
Okay.
And yeah, Monkey Man,
Monkey Man.
Monkey Man. Like, it's definitely something that he could have directed, and I'm sure that he produced it because he thought that that Dave Patel is, his name is Dave Patel, right?
Dev, yes.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm losing the names.
It's okay.
I'm sure that he thinks that Dave Patel is as cool as him.
Yeah.
So.
And he is. He proved that with that movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk about the premise?
Well, I think that what I understood from the story to me is a story about a guy who had suffered from an injustice. It's basically this guy who lives with his mom in a small village, and then the police comes in, they kick them out, and they basically kill his mom, and then he goes into a revenge mission, and we follow his revenge mission.
Yeah.
And the movie takes place in India. I don't know if I don't think it was filmed in India. I don't think so.
I heard from one of the interviews that you sent me is that it was filmed on an island,
Hmm.
but it I watching it I thought it was filmed in India. Yeah.
It takes place in India. It tackles a lot of political issues.
Yes.
Netflix was supposed to produce this movie and they
Okay.
just gave up.
Oh.
And so Dave Patel, like I heard they had the worst problems that any production could have.
He broke his hand on like
He
the first
broke his
week.
hand. He didn't have the money to produce this movie, and he broke his hand again. And at a certain point, they had to film with an iPhone.
No.
Yeah,
No.
they I couldn't find the scene, but it's a verified fact. They filmed some scenes with an iPhone.
Listen, if they're making Hollywood movies with iPhones, I don't care what cinematographer thinks they need as equipment, but you can do it too.
This movie had 5% of the budget that Argyle had, and to me, they redefined the action genre.
Yes.
And this is I would even go as far as to say that this is the best movie that I've watched in 2024.
What better movie did I watch? I know it's not the best. I don't know. I'm hoping that I'm gonna see better movies. I don't know. I don't. We film these podcasts, but when people ask me what movies have you been watching, I blank. I'm like, wait a minute. Let me open our YouTube channel to see what I've been watching.
Yeah.
I don't think it was my favorite movie, but
Mhm.
I do have a lot of appreciation and respect for it, and I'm gonna tell you why. At the beginning, when I first started watching the movie, I couldn't understand why he was doing what he was
Mhm.
doing. And it's only until the moment that he met with this uh, person who guided him through this spiritual
The
journey, where,
Guru?
yes, the guru, that's when I understood what the movie is about. But all before then, I only would see things that didn't seem coherent. And when we
Mhm.
understood what happened to him in his childhood, that's when I understand. And that's also what I wanted to say when you were talking about the synopsis. You said it's about a guy. I would say it's about a kid because, in my opinion, the character never grew up. He was still
Yeah.
traumatized, and everything he did trying to like have his revenge and his vendetta. And it's such an interesting topic because you see him, and basically he did enter a lot of times like political meetings and things, and he did things that would be described as terrorism acts.
Mhm.
But when you understand his history, I'm so scared of saying that, but you kind of see why he did what he did. And I think any act of violence should be very, like, shouldn't happen, but
Yeah.
you also understand. And another, like, he was, like, on the news, he was described as a terrorist and he
Mhm.
was described as the antagonist. But seeing the pain that he did, you understand that what he did, he just did what things have been done to his family. So for him, this was justifiable. And I think this is such a fine line to work on, but it just goes to show that when people in power commit acts of violence, all it does is create more violence, and that's such an important topic to talk about, especially today. So yeah.
Okay. So this is like from what I'm understanding is that the thing that made you like it was this synopsis, the writing maybe.
Yeah, I liked it because after the scene where he was with the guru, I understood the meaning behind the movie.
Mhm.
And I also liked it because it's not just a movie that's fictional. It's not just a movie that people in India would relate to. It's a movie that people all over the world
Could
could
relate to.
relate to.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's not a story about your everyday guy. It's about something very specific, but it's happening everywhere. So it gives more context to history.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's so controversial. I'm so scared of this, but it's true.
I I respect that. I love the synopsis too. I
Yeah.
think it was a great idea. I mean, it's your basic idea of a protagonist suffering an injustice and then
Yeah.
like trying to get his power back, because to me this is what the story is about. It's about this person who's trying to get their power back. It's the script's objective. But to me, I went with such low expectations that I was shocked. Like my brain was on fire watching this. I think this movie is my new Elvis. um
Ooh.
yes, I
How many times have you watched Elvis again?
almost
I
10.
think yes.
I'm gonna watch this movie so many times, like I can promise you that. And it's because I think it's very innovative, and it's gonna go down in history, and it's gonna become a classic because it's doing so many things that I haven't seen before. The first thing is the diversity. I have to talk about this. I'm so passionate about this, and the more I'm growing up, the more I'm more like strict about this and about seeing some representation on screen. And to me, this is the first time in an action movie where I see an Indian lead. And so for me, it's redefining this genre, and gonna go it's gonna create more space for other people. And whenever I go on these speeches about representations, I'm not saying that like the people who are already on top don't deserve to be there. I'm just saying that there is more seat in the table, and that like other people who maybe kind of look different could have a
Yes.
seat too. It doesn't mean that like other people can't have a seat
Yeah.
anyways. So to me, it's very innovative,
Hmm.
whether we want it or not. And I'm very happy that we are in an age where people like Dave Patel, people like Rami Youssef, people like maybe in the music sphere, Saint Laurent, are here because these people used to not be here just a few months back.
They
And
didn't have a voice.
yeah,
We didn't have a voice.
yeah, exactly. We like honestly, we don't feel represented, and this is
Yeah.
something that we talk about a lot. Whenever I go to watch a movie, yes, I can relate to the characters' feelings, I can relate to the story, but I don't have someone who have the same background as me or who looks like me
Hmm.
who's on screen. Like Hollywood is not there yet, and I want them to create that representation. That's the first thing. Second thing, the colors. I mean, I was just having so much fun watching this movie. It was like being in the craziest rave. I don't go to raves, but I don't know why this is like the only thing that I can compare it to. It was so primal as Dave Patel described it, and there was something so raw about it, so vibrant, so energetic. The fight scenes were the choreography was so beautiful, and so it went a step further, like compared to other action movies. Like you had the choreography, but they would just like add the gore element, and everything around the character was used as a weapon. Like even like the thing, like the most random things, glass, everything was used as a weapon
At some
to.
point, he bit someone's
Yeah,
noise and nose, and oh my god, I couldn't even watch that scene. And he did the same thing twice in a row,
but
and I was like,
that's
oh
the
my
thing
god.
that like brings your focus back to the
Yeah.
scene. And all those fight scene when he's in the arena, all the people around, and like all the screaming, and the energy and the colors of this movie, it's so vibrant, and it's so different from everything that I've seen before. It's dusty, the
Yeah.
camera is shaking, it's like the camera guy is like so out of focus, but I think everything is done on purpose. It's because we're exploring someone's rage, and when you're in rage, you are not steady, and the movie is not steady, and it's so like you feel like this movie is gonna snap at any moment.
I want to talk about the rage because at some point in the beginning of the movie, there was a scene where he seemed angry, but it didn't show like in his acting, and I was like, oh, but he doesn't seem angry.
Mhm.
And I only understood in the second part that it was part of his process of processing his feeling. He only waited until his spiritual awakening to actually feel the anger, and you could see it in the second half of the movie. And that to me just shows incredible character understanding
Mhm.
because even though his character is a very like angry person at first because he wasn't in sync with himself,
Yeah.
he didn't show this anger and we didn't see it. And yeah, I appreciated that more. In the beginning I was like, oh no, this is not good, but
Mhm.
then when you understand it in the second half of the movie, you're like, no, it's actually genius. And
Totally. I
yeah.
think that Dave Patel is brilliant. And we were talking about this earlier about the slow burn artist,
Yeah.
about how some artists take so many years to have like their breakout roles,
Yeah.
and Dave Patel is one of them. To
Yeah.
me, he was in an A24 movie a few years back. We never heard of it. He was in the most successful British show, Skins. Like, he should have had a crazy career after that. So many people who were with him had,
Yeah.
like Nicola something. He's an X-Men. Kaya Scodelario. She did so many things, but he took his sweet time, learned so many things. He learned to write, to direct, to he
Yes.
learned what he liked and didn't like, and he produced a masterpiece.
Yes.
And I think that this is the price to pay for excellence sometimes.
It's definitely it's not sometimes. I think excellence comes with experience, and there's no just overnight success.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I totally agree with that. And I have so much respect for these people. It's like Rami Malek a few years back when he did Bohemian Rhapsody. He was an actor for such a long time. Before
Yeah.
that, he did Mr. Robot, which is a genius TV show, but like he never got the recognition. The TV show, in my opinion, never got the recognition it deserved. And then he did Bohemian Rhapsody, and you could see all of his experience and all of his years of experience and hard work in that
Mm-hmm.
movie. And that's very
Same thing for
impressive.
Austin Butler.
Yes, Austin
Yeah.
Butler. He was on Disney. He was in Wizards of Waverly Place.
Mm-hmm.
So many, yeah.
He was on Disney. He did Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
He was in one.
He
Wait,
was there.
what?
Yeah, he was one of the, like the hippies.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. He was one. And oh my
He
God.
was in this Carrie Bradshaw show. The character from
Yes,
Sex and the
yeah.
City. They did a spin-off of when she was younger, and
Okay.
he was one of the characters for 2 seasons.
Oh my God, what?
But he took his time, and now he knows so many things. And like, I listened to his interviews, and he's talking about all of these acting techniques and how he would just book a trip to New York to watch every single theater show out there, and just learn and just meet people. And I just respect that. The more I watch movies, the more I listen to like people who work in the industry, the more I respect the people who just take the time to understand what they like, to know what they like and what they don't like, because they have a best shot in creating something that haven't been created, and something that's original, and something that will go on to change the world. Because I think that movies can definitely change the world and make it a better place. And it's movies like this one, that like Monkey Man, that create these kind of discussions that we have, and that create the representation that we desperately need. And why, well, again, like, why do I think that that representation is crucial? It's because it makes the world a better place. Like, if I have someone representing me on screen, like, people will get used to it, and therefore it will have a direct impact on me as a human in society. And
Yeah.
yeah, this is just my opinion.
And as cheesy as it may sound, it's proof that you actually have to enjoy the process more than
Mhm.
like trying to reach an end goal.
Yeah.
Because if it's gonna take time, you better be having fun doing it, no matter how big or small whatever you're doing is.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah. I also want to talk about something about this movie, and something that I couldn't help but notice, and I don't know if I'm just crazy or if it's a real thing, but the music in this movie.
Yes. I wanted to talk about the music.
Not just the music, the sounds. Like, as like, from the beginning, from the first fight scene in the arena, you could I noticed that like the movements, whenever there was a kick, there was like
a beat.
a beat.
Yes.
And it created such a beautiful, cool blend and blend. Also, like, one of my favorite scenes in this movie is the club scene.
Yes. They were playing Roxanne. They were playing actually two very good and appropriate songs for the moment. First one was Roxanne, the other one I don't
Somebody
remember.
to Love.
Somebody to Love. Yes.
I think that when they played Somebody to Love, that's when my brain went on fire.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful scene. Like, like, every beat goes with an action.
Yeah.
And to be this precise is crazy to me. Like, this is just next level kind of great.
I also think that when you're using these kind of songs, ideally people usually use the original song,
Mhm.
but they use covers. and the covers were so well done.
Yeah.
I think I like the covers more than the original songs. Like I want to go back to the soundtrack of the movie and
Mhm.
hear the covers of those
I
songs.
did not stop listening to it ever since
Yeah?
I watched the movie.
Oh my god.
Also, there was this scene where Dave is he's just like punching a bag, and like
Yeah.
there was this guru next to him
Yeah.
playing
Yeah, right. Yes.
the dumps
Drums.
drums
Yes.
and dumps the drums and the sound again.
Yes, he was punching to each beat of the drum, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like my North African background, but
Oh,
like I loved those drums. It's so cool. It goes with everything. And then like I thought about it more, and I'm like, it's a movie that takes place in India. And what are Bollywood movies known for? Music. So
yes.
it made it more real, and it
Yeah.
made it more believable. And I feel like whoever was in charge with the music, with the soundtrack, deserves an Oscar. They deserve so much recognition, because to me, like, there is a level of excellence that this movie reached, but to be extra excellent, to be the best action movie out there, you need like a little bit more to like get there. And to me, they got there thanks to the soundtrack, because no,
Yes.
like, I feel like no movie cares about the sounds, the background sounds, like the most, I'm not talking about the songs, like just the everyday
The
sounds that you
ASMR.
don't even notice. So to have like vibrant scenes, fight scenes with so many background actors, with the two main characters doing the craziest like flips and everything, and to like be able to notice the sound is they just tackled all of the audience senses, and that's brilliant. That's genius. I feel like I watched this and I'm gonna hate every single movie that I watched after this, because right, like I just don't want to lower the bar again.
I don't know. I feel maybe if we don't watch action movies, they're not gonna be
Mhm.
disappointed because
But
then
maybe
we're
we should just start watching
action.
action movies
Honestly,
all the
I don't
time.
mind. Should we like preview all the whole James Bond series?
Yeah, but I feel like we're still gonna be disappointed.
A little, maybe it
Yeah.
depends. But yeah, going back to the drums, I love the fact that that scene, there wasn't a lot of sounds. There was only the drums, and it
Mhm.
was, as you said, very raw, very pure, like the cinematography. And I feel we're lacking that. I feel sometimes in movies we have a lot, so much going on,
Yeah.
and just in that scene, it was very épuré, I don't know how to say it in English, but it was very filtered
Yeah.
and to only what matters, to the sounds that matters. And I think that was such a peaceful scene in a movie where a lot was happening, and that just brought the balance to the movie, and I really appreciate it.
Mhm.
And it's a new way. I don't know, for me it felt new, and yeah.
Also, there's this scene that I feel like I could just like talk about it all day. Is this scene where he opens up his chest,
Yes.
figuratively, and all is there is trauma, and you get to see his story as he's opening his chest. You get an insight of what happened to him, and to me that is so poetic. And it's so horrific but so poetic at the same time. Like you really have to be it, like a human with such a brilliant taste, i- and with so many beautiful ideas to come up with this idea.
I didn't like that scene.
Oh,
No, I
why?
didn't. It reminded me of the last scene in Babylon. Do you remember the last scene in that movie where we were seeing just everything at the same time and it just didn't make sense, and like it's just this one scene didn't feel coherent with the whole movie, because all along the movie was realistic, and then you see this scene where you're just transported to another universe. And I respect the experiment, and I understand that it's a movie, and yes, we should go further than just representing what's
Mhm.
real. But for me, and it's very personal, it's very
Yeah.
biased, but for me, it just wasn't a good match for the whole aesthetic of the
Really,
movie.
I had a
Yeah,
totally different experience. Like,
yeah.
to me, we weren't thrown back, or like we weren't. It wasn't like a trip, because
Mm-hmm.
I know he took drugs, right? Uh, I didn't see it as as a drug trip. Like, the way that I saw that scene is, I interpreted as he opened up to us, and he
Yes.
literally opened up, and all is there inside of him. It's only trauma, that he doesn't have anything inside of him. His only fuel is the trauma that he lived. And so to me, It's like a metaphor. And yeah, and speaking of that scene, I just want to give a shout out to the mean policeman because the villain. I loved him as much as I hated him.
That's what
Yeah.
makes a good actor.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And who else? Like everyone in this movie was cool. I like the best friend, the guy who worked at the club.
Oh, I didn't understand that because I remember there was a scene where, like, the first scene where he started treating people around, and like his friend, he started following him in the car, and it's like he was in on it, and I'm like, what are you doing, you idiot? Don't associate yourself with him. Like, how did he just get in the car with him? And then he just disappeared.
Yeah.
He's still in touch with him, and you just didn't know anything about him. So I just didn't understand that dynamic. I understand that they were friends and they were close, but I don't understand why he jumped in the car with him. And then at some point he, like, I don't know, like he stopped the car. I don't know if he stopped the car. I don't know. It was just very confusing, but I do respect it. I understand that in moments like this,
Yeah.
you're just so overwhelmed with everything that's happening that you might end up doing something stupid, like getting in the car with someone who tried to kill a bunch of politicians. But still, anyway, it was a fun dynamic. Also, something else that I didn't understand, and I don't want to be negative, but I'm just like, the moment when he went to shoot the guy in the first scene, like when all of it happened, the guy had almost overdosed, whereas Dev's character was completely sober, and he still lost the fight to him. And that's something that I just didn't understand. But then also later, after he starts training and all, we understand that he wasn't his best fighter, and this is why he lost to him. And also, I think maybe deep down he wasn't ready to kill the policeman, and this is why he lost to the fight. But yeah, it all went downhill from that scene, and then it all came back up. So yeah.
Also, speaking of he had to fight to find himself back.
Yeah.
Shout out to martial arts again.
Yes.
Because I love when movies romanticize martial arts, and I feel like in most movies they use them to portray a certain good evolution. Like Fight Club, like this movie Monkey Man, Karate Kid, and yeah, I love seeing this kind of representation of how they make you better people, because I do feel like martial arts do make people better.
Yeah,
so
we're gonna talk about martial arts in more depth and details in the upcoming episodes.
We have a long shade coming
up. This is an Easter egg.
Yeah. But yeah, I loved everything about this movie.
Hold on, we talked about this movie for what, so 20 minutes, and we didn't even talk about the monkey man fighting. We didn't even talk about the monkey man scene.
Oh yeah, with the mask.
Yeah. The mask. I love these scenes. I don't have much to say about them because there's such. I know the movie is called Monkey Man, but there's such like a small aspect of the movie, in my opinion. It's the fighter is the character. It's not just the monkey man, but the monkey man is within. But that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, I just want to give a shout out to the Australian guy.
Who's oh yeah, the présentateur. Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought it was so funny, and yes, the fighting scenes were incredible. Okay, so I think that sums it up for the movie Monkey Man. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let us know what you think about it in the comments below.
And please like and subscribe. And
yes.
we'll see you guys next week.
See you guys next week. Bye.